to really take it in. On there, I even had see some foolishness on the subway, but I really wanted to have the experience. So I'm making this video because prior to us going, I watched some videos. They were really helpful. I want to add the aspect of traveling to New York with a family. We did a family of 6. Included in that, the youngest was 9 years old and the oldest was 82. So my mom went. Hey, it's Creatively Analytic, Nat B, that's me, and I'm back with another video. Did all of that, and I still have on my realtor pin. Listen, you guys know, we have multiple things going on over here. This is working life. All right, so this is not a real estate video. I actually just finished recording one. If you're interested in real estate content, check out my real estate websites. So I have my consumer focused website, which is soldbynat.com. And then I have my agent focused website for new agents and aspiring agents. Nat knows real estate and stuff. Like my pen, I have it in silver and gold. Check that out in my Amazon store. And I have some other cool things. But today I'm gonna be doing a video. We're gonna be talking about our trip to New York. And we had a great time.
In New York!
Paying homage to New York. As you see, it's my birthplace. This is the Brooklyn Bridge. We walked a bridge.
You sure about that?
I don't know. This might be, I don't know what bridge this is, but it's beautiful. But yes, was born in New York, haven't been there. I left there when I was 14, so I did most of my growing in Florida. But I wanted to bring my kids back, or my son had been there, but he was smaller, and then he drove through, but my daughters had never seen it. And also I wanted them to see where their parents were born, because my husband and I were born in New York. Me, Cambridge Heights, Queens, my husband, Brooklyn. I don't feel like I did my growing in New York, but I remember a lot about it. I have good memories from New York. I did live in the suburbs. My husband was in Brooklyn. So I wanted the family to get the real experience. I wanted the kids to get a real experience. So much so that I had a checklist of things that I wanted us to do. And I had simpleton stuff on there, like ride a bus, ride a train, don't talk about me. I even had see a New York roach and see a subway rat. I sure did, because I wanted them to really take it in. On there, I even had see some foolishness on the subway, but I really wanted to have the experience. So I'm making this video because prior to us going, I watched some videos. They were really helpful. I want to add the aspect of traveling to New York with a family. We did a family of 6. Included in that, the youngest was 9 years old and the oldest was 82. So my mom went. So I just want to share our perspective, share things that we did. So if you're planning a trip, this could possibly help you. All right, there are some great channels out there, great videos, but I also want to share perspective of some things where I'm like, okay, we did this good, maybe we might change this the next time. So that's what we're going to be talking about. First up, we stayed in an Airbnb in Brooklyn. I realized the majority of things that we wanted to do were near or in Manhattan, but also those prices for Manhattan, they are up there. They're up there. And it'd be cool if it was just my hubby and I. We could do that, but a family of 6 in Manhattan, we were not trying to stay in one room, so we would have to get 2. It was going to cost. So we were like, all right, we'll go ahead and stay in Brooklyn. From watching one of the videos, they recommended staying in, I think, Long Island, Queens, but do your research, see what is going to be the best areas. And I want to say they said it because of the cost and the distance to Manhattan. So we ended up getting an Airbnb in Brooklyn, and the Airbnb was nice inside. I wish the location was different, but our host was phenomenal. Like, phenomenal. I'm going to have his link down below. I'm going to do him that solid because he was a phenomenal host. And his unit was nice. Whoever decorated it, they really have some good design taste. But it was just one thing I wish I would consider, but it really didn't impact us as much. It was like 3 flights of stairs to get up and down. And like I said, we traveled with my 82-year-old mother. So from looking at the pictures, I saw that there were one set of stairs up, one set of stairs down. And I assumed we had the down. But I didn't realize once you go down, you have to go up 3 flights of stairs. So that's probably something to really check and make sure if you have anyone that has any requirements that you want to make sure, like, where exactly are we staying? There was another Airbnb that we looked at first, and after reading the comments, it seemed like the host lived in the unit as well. And it was almost like you had to enter their place to get to where you were staying. And I didn't want it to be a communal, like, hey, how y'all doing? Didn't want that. I wanted us to feel separated. So that's it on where we stayed. And I have some video that I recorded when I got into the unit. So take a look at that. So we have finally made it to our Airbnb where we'll be staying. My husband texted me. He was like, everything about this is sketchy until you get inside the unit. And I see exactly why. The situation, like, we're on the top floor. It's sketchy. When you get in here, it's nice. Like, look at the bed. Don't care for the location, and I don't care for having to take stairs all the way up. I don't know how I missed that, because I would have never picked that with my mom, who is 80, how old am I? 82. And we're off in the cut. Like, I had it in my mind, we gonna come out, walk to the corner store. That's not happening here. But we're here, and we're gonna make the best of it, or see if we get in the rent. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna see, because the place is nice and they have it stocked nicely. So let me show you. Next up, we're going to talk about transportation, how we got around. So remind you, it is a family of 6. We all have luggage. We did condense it down to 4 suitcases because normally we travel deep. And with that, we still had to take 2 Ubers to and from the airport. We could have done subway, but I just wasn't with testing it on the subway with all of us and luggage. And it had been a while since I have taken the subway. Even though I saw people doing it, if it was my husband and I might have chanced it, but I just didn't want to do that. So we did Ubers. We did a lot of Ubers, but we also did, because it was on my list, to take the train and subway. So for example, on the day that we went to the One World Observatory and World Trade Center Memorial, we took an Uber there, and then we took an Uber to the Statue of Liberty, and then after we were done, we took a train to Manhattan, because that's the day that we did Times Square, and we had dinner at Carmine. So we did take train that day. Another morning, we took an Uber.
You sure about that?
Breakfast? Well, actually, we took an Uber to a breakfast spot that we reserved online got there, and they're like, oh yeah, no, we don't open until a certain time. We don't have a cook. And we walked to a place around the corner that was really good, mom and pop place. Nice to have that experience. And then we hopped on the subway and we went, where did we go that day? I don't know. We did a lot. We really lived that tourist life. It was great, y'all. This trip was supposed to be for the kids, but it really ended up, everybody had a phenomenal time, like to the point where we were like, maybe we would move back. And that says a lot. We're in Georgia. You get more bang for your buck. You have more space. But I'm like, maybe my husband and I would get a place in New York. Possibly, maybe. But it even had me considering, like, I see why. And we're going to get into that because we're going to talk about why I see why people stay. Because I work with a lot of people in real estate that are relocating from up north, down south to Georgia, for various reasons, which if you want to check out that video, I will link it here. I did that on my real estate channel, but I also see why people stay. So yeah, that's transportation. So we did Ubers, bus. We did bus one day, and we did train. We did end up getting lost on the train at one point, and we aborted mission after a while. We were going to New Jersey to go to Harry's daughter. It was an island restaurant, and we were trying to take the subway there, or the train. Yeah, subway. Yes, train there, and we ended up getting turned around. And that's what I remember. Like, it may seem straightforward, but then it can get confusing. So yeah, I also saw a video, but I didn't watch it, like understanding the subway system. You might want to watch some videos like that if that's how you plan to get around when you are visiting. But we had a great time. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Shout out to everybody. I had fun.
Also, we didn't walk far because I realized a New York mile is very different from a Georgia mile. In Georgia, I could travel 40 miles in 1 hour. In New York, we ended up going to the wrong Airbnb address at first. It was like, we were supposed to be on Grand Avenue. The driver put in Grand Place. I didn't catch it. And it was like, okay, it's only 6-point-something miles away, 6.7. It still said it was going to take an hour. I was like, we're only going 6.7 miles away. Why is it taking an hour? That traffic, that could be a whole nother video in itself. Traffic, be prepared for the traffic. And that's why we were so happy that we did not rent a car. And I'm an aggressive driver. New York drivers make me look like I am driving Miss Daisy, because New York drivers are aggressive. They lay on the horn. They next level. They are next level. We were so glad we did not drive just to give us peace of mind. It's okay to sit in traffic when you're not the one driving. So we were okay with spending those coins for travel and Ubers. All right, let's go to the next topic. Next up, we are going to talk about food. Let's talk about food. Man, we ate good. That was also on my list. Eat pizza, eat a bagel, eat Chinese food where they have to staple the box shut. We didn't get that one. We ordered takeout. It was really good though. We had it delivered one night. My husband and I were going out and leaving the family at home. But here are some other places that we ate at. Here's some of the food. We ate at Luna's Kitchen and Bar. We ate there after we got in. We ate at Bill's Bar and Burger, and that was just near the One World Observatory and World Trade Center monument. Like, it's a lot to say. So we just walked around, and we'll talk about that more. But we ate there. We ate at Harry's daughter, like I said, in New Jersey. We ate at Carmine's Italian in Times Square. We ate at Sugar Bun NYC Bakery and Cafe. We ate at Andy's Breakfast Spot. We ate there, and we ate at Gravesend Pizzeria. That was like one of our first meals we had, really good. And we ended our meal with Red Rooster. That is Chef Marcus Samuelson. And that was really cool because we are currently watching Iron Chef, and he's one of the chefs on Iron Chef. So we had made reservations to go eat at Sylvia's, and then we saw that Red Rooster was right down the street, and we were like, well, kudos to my husband. He was like, I think that'd be a cooler experience for them because we're watching him and they can make that connection. So we did that. Just FYI, make reservations. Didn't officially do a brunch, but I felt good with what we did. But husband and I go back, we definitely want to do a brunch. All right, next let's get into the things that we did. And like I said, we wanted to live that tourist life, and we did the big bus, one of those big bus tours when you go into Manhattan. This was the same day that we did Times Square, and we ate at Carmine's. We made reservations. So in the day, we went out and we did the big bus tour, and it's had several stops. And my best friend told me about this. You can get on and hop off at different stops, and buses continue to circulate, so you can get off. The only place that we got off was the Brooklyn Bridge, and we had an absolute great time. We were blessed with good weather. I want to say the lowest it got might have been
You sure about that?
in the 50s. I don't think it got down in the 40s, but I bought a heavy jacket and did not wear it, not once, right? So we did the big bus tour, and I'm just looking down at my notes and my pictures just to make sure I touch on everything. Like, it's such an experience. With that, when we got off, remember I had my mom with us, so she sat on a bench near the entrance and just enjoyed the day. She got some fruit, she ate some fruit, and we just had a really good time. As you can see by the pictures, I wanted to walk the Brooklyn Bridge just because, just for the experience, and it was great. So I do highly recommend that one. I will tell you, with the big bus, they tell you to be at that last bus stop. He told us 6 o'clock. We got there and there was a bus. We were there like 5:40-ish. And he was leaving and we had to use the restroom and we had time. And he was like, yeah, 2 more buses are gonna come. 1 bus came. We waited out there. Another family came and was waiting out there. No other buses came. So we ended up getting tired of waiting because it was very obvious that nobody was coming back. Customer service was not picking up. So we Ubered to the other part of Manhattan, to Times Square, to go to dinner at Carmine's, and then we stayed out there. Y'all, let me tell you. In my research, found out there is a art show that happens every night in Times Square at 11:57 p.m. for 3 minutes, from 11:57 to 12 midnight. Our dinner reservations at Carmine's was at like 8:15. We ate, got out of there, and wasted time in Times Square. And of course, you see some of everything in Times Square. So it was a cool experience. But we were really wasting time to see this art show. And when I tell you, this art show was such a dud, but it just so happened that it was the art show on the day that we chose, because I've seen other people share their art shows, and to me, it was worth it. Yeah, to me, it was worth it to get the experience. But the day we went, it wasn't worth it. So yeah, that was the day that we went. We did the big bus tour and we did Times Square. Next up, Statue of Liberty. So I mentioned before when we talked about transportation that we took an Uber to the Statue of Liberty. We got on the ferry over, and we did not go up in the statue. I've heard that it's not really, you really don't need to do it, but I would have done it for the experience. But when we got there, something about the tickets, and the guard was like, you get better views if you go over in this, I don't know what you call it. Let's just say like a museum kind of thing, because they have all kind of things about the Statue of Liberty, how it was created. It was, wow. Like I said, this was for the kids. Like I did not expect to enjoy the Statue of Liberty so much, and just to learn and see the genius behind it and what it really stands for. yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. So that is something definitely worth doing. And it's the Statue of Liberty. Like, come on, it's the Statue of Liberty. And the views. We got great pictures. We got great pictures. After that, came back over on the ferry, and there's like a little area where they have some monuments. It has um, names of people that were in the Navy, Army. I'm not exactly sure what that was about. And we had, everybody's hustling in New York. Everybody's hustling, but it's not an aggressive type hustle. It can be, but it's not as aggressive. Like, I've been in Jamaica on a cruise. Like, they're aggressive. This man was painting a picture of my kids. And that's how you don't put that painter that drew that picture look nothing like my kid. But yeah, it's you will find that a lot. People selling things, people asking for money, but it was never to the point where it made you uncomfortable. Well, not me at least. One thing I want to mention about the Statue of Liberty, they do have a part where I want to say it was like 3 different sections. It's like you walk in a room and it goes through an audio and it explains. That was really cool as well. All right, next up we are going to talk about Hyde Park. This was a day we were just looking for, something to do, and I had seen pictures of Hyde Park, and because the weather was agreeable, it wasn't hot, but it wasn't cold either. I was like, let's go to Hyde Park, and that was the day. That evening we had reservations at Red Rooster. Okay, so we went to Hyde Park. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. You got people just lounging. I saw some students drawing together in the park. People just enjoying the scenery. I was a peeping Tom looking in people's lofts and just trying to get a picture, because I'm just like, it's just a whole vibe. I'm in real estate, so I looked up property value, how much things were going for. Cha-cha. And I see why people relocate to Georgia, because things are expensive in New York. But I'll include some of the pictures. And I'm not including a ton of pictures. A lot include my family. A lot is just of us. But it's a vibe. I really enjoyed Hyde Park. I wish I had time to really walk everything. But again, have my 82-year-old mom, and she had been doing a lot of walking, so really don't want to overdo it on her. While I'm here, we already talked about transportation, but if you are traveling with small children and strollers, really do your due diligence and research, and I heard this mentioned in the video, like, New York is not friendly subway wise. I saw this couple. The husband had the baby on him, and the wife is carrying the stroller down the subway stairs. So I'm like, and I mentioned that in the video I did on real estate, it's a harder life. I appreciate the easier side of life living in Georgia. But I remember that from when I was living in New York, and why I always say I would never move back with children. It's just harder. But yeah. But that's my opinion. To each his own. Do your thing. But if you're traveling with strollers and all of that, you probably don't want to be doing the subway. I'm pretty sure. All right. So after Hyde Park that day, we went to Harlem. Had to experience Harlem. I wish we could have done like brunch in Harlem and really got out during the day, but we went to Harlem in the evening time, but at least we got to go. And that's when we went to the Red Rooster, had dinner there. It was so wonderful. It was a Monday night and they had a live band. So it just felt like, yes, we got a good experience of Harlem. It is a whole vibe. It is a whole vibe. And the vibe continued on because we walked like 7-minute walk down the street and we went to the Apollo. Well, we went outside the Apollo. It was closed, but my kids were all of us were able to see all the names of people that had, gotten squares in front of the Apollo. And just to see, I grew up watching the Apollo. And if you're good, they will cheer you on. But if you're not, You have to go, and Sandman is coming out there to escort you off, and you rubbing the wood. So I remember that. So it was really cool to see it in person. And shout out to the Red Rooster. I know everybody raves about Sylvia, and you have to eat there, and the soul food, and it's been around for years, and so many big names have eaten there over the years, but I really enjoyed the Red Rooster, and the art in there. The art in there was absolutely beautiful and phenomenal, and you'll see pictures of that. And so that was my experience, our experience in Harlem. We have one more to go, but before we do, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on to art. Listen, art is everywhere. I don't know if I'm just in a different space in life where I look to get joy out of the mundane, to get joy out of little things. Like there was this man on a subway that had his dog in his backpack. To me, that was joy. Like it was so cute seeing his dog on his back. And where else you gonna see that at? But New York, on a New York subway. The artwork. When we first got there, we went to this place. I gotta look up the name. It's an industrial something, and it looked like it would be popping during the day, but we went at night and most of the things were closed. But I got this beautiful picture in front of all this flower wall. So I'll put the name of that in the description box below. But it was the night that we got in, and I was like, yeah, we're not gonna waste this time. We're gonna look for somewhere to go. And when that place didn't end up shaking out, how we walked down the street around the corner, and we ended up at Gravesend Pizza, and we had the greatest pizza. One food spot I did not mention are bodegas. Y'all, bodegas, the corner stores have leveled up since I lived in New York. You can get everything in a bodega. So after we ate pizza, we went to the bodega. When I tell you, they have full-on bakeries. You can get a salad spread, a sandwich spread, anything you need, they have it in a bodega. So on my list, I had get snacks late night from a bodega. Heck, we did that too. Back to art. Art is everywhere. I'm gonna include some of the pictures. We just saw this while walking. This was nothing that we sought out. It was either by walking to places that we just needed to get to and just observing. And I'm like, when what you focus on expands, what you seek out comes to you. Because when we were walking one day, we saw graffiti, live action graffiti, but not the scribble scrabble, I'm whack, gang signs kind of graffiti. It was the art of graffiti. And my husband talked to the guys. I gotta make sure I include the picture that my husband took with the graffiti artist. But they're a bunch of guys in their 50s, and they get together on the weekend, and this is what they do. They want to keep the art of it going. So I know the older generation is like, look at this riffraff. They just putting up they just graffiti on everything. It's no class to it, but these gentlemen were true artists. So, and even art in the views. So when you're traveling, take in the art everywhere. Take it in, it's everywhere. Last on the list, and this was my absolute fave. This was a must. We must go here. Was the World Trade Center Memorial and One World Observatory. This was just, I can't even say it wasn't. I was gonna say it's personal to me. I did not have anybody in the World Trade Center, but if you lived during this and you were old enough, you remember where you were when this happened. And I just had to pay homage while we were there. I needed my kids to see, and my oldest daughter got emotional several times, and I could have stayed there longer. There were sections in the memorial that I still wanted to get to, but I understood, that they were hungry. I was like, all right, let's go, let's get something to eat. And plus, it had been a somber day. It's so weird because it's somber and then it's also triumphant to see the resilience of people. But that is a must on the list. And I'm so glad that I watched videos prior to going, because I knew that there was an observatory where you could go up in and get the views. And maybe my best friend told me about that. I'm not sure, but I know I definitely watched videos. So while we were at the memorial, I'm asking my husband, like, okay, where do we go up? He didn't even realize that that was a thing. So we knew that was there. And the Oculus, listen, people are brilliant. People are brilliant to create what they create, even what they did with the memorial. The Oculus, I know it has stores in there and it has trains and stuff, but the architecture, the all white, it's worth seeing. It is worth seeing. That is something on the list. It's, you got to do it. You do it. And wherever we went, we paid for the you know how they'll do the tours to really tell you, or you'll be able to see different things. We did that. We wanted the full on. Give it all to us. Give it all to us. All right. That is it. We did it. I made it through everything that we did for the most part. I said I wanted to give you the perspective of traveling with a family of 6, and kind of what we did, what we enjoyed. We enjoyed everything. I think the Ubers came in handy the most. I could not have seen putting that much strain on my mom doing train and subway everywhere. Yeah, no. Yeah, if that was going to be the case, we probably needed to stay in Manhattan, so we wouldn't have had far to go. So definitely, that's the biggest one. Like, decide that in advance. Decide that in advance. And as far as eating, you can eat in New York for cheap, I believe, but we're the kind, when we travel, we're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to have a good time. But if you're trying to travel on a budget, go ahead and, I was going to say plan that out. I don't think you need to plan it out. I think you can make it work. They have dollar pizzas, for goodness sake. They have dollar pizzas. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you got something from this video. I hope you decide to go to New York and visit and take it in. I cannot wait to go back in warmer weather. Even though the weather was cool, warmer weather with my hubby, so we can do just some things with us. I also want to go back Christmas time and experience Rockefeller Center, even though I don't want to experience that cold, but I do want to experience Rockefeller Center. I would do that with the family. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please go ahead and subscribe if you feel led. Check out some other videos on this channel. I don't bring a lot of travel related content, so I won't give you any smoke and mirrors there. But definitely check out my real estate channel. I do have a little bit of content on travel, more on that channel, like places to visit in and near Georgia. Went to Tennessee, Dahlonega. I need to have a South Carolina trip that I need to do a video about. So I do a little bit, but I'm not a travel guru. Search it on YouTube though. There are some great videos, and I will link to some of those videos that I found really helpful. Thank you guys for watching. Bare minimum, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. And just go ahead and subscribe anyway. Just help me out. I'm trying to get to 100. Is it 100? No, 1,000. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So just go ahead and give me a thumbs up anyway. All right, guys, have a positive, peaceful, and productive day. Bye.